Hi, it's Leanne at Body Shop Performance. Talking to you specifically about mental health this week in the first of a two-part series that we're going to be running on mental health. So I want to set the scene in this particular video for you. What is a lead contributor to good or bad mental health? And in part it comes down to the nervous system. So the body has an autonomic nervous system that governs a lot of functions. As the name kind of hints at, a lot of those functions are automatic, like breathing, for example. Now, there are two branches to the autonomic nervous system. One is the sympathetic branch and the other is the parasympathetic branch. And in this sense, the names are not really clues. The sympathetic is actually responsible for our fight, flight, freeze actions. So we can be sympathetic dominant when we do a workout because that's a positive form of stress. We can be sympathetic dominant when we're responding to a deadline, sympathetic dominant when we've been surprised or we're frightened. So it's not always a good or a bad thing. It's just a particular state of the nervous system that we can be in. The parasympathetic, on the other hand, is our rest and digest functions. So it's healthy for us to alternate between sympathetic and parasympathetic dominance. That's a really normal state of being. Where the problems can arise is when we become chronically stressed because we are in an elevated sympathetic dominant state. So the critical thing for mental health is to make sure you're spending enough time in a parasympathetic dominant state and you're moving in between those two sides of the nervous system. If we're too much in parasympathetic dominance, we're too laid back, we're not being challenged enough, and that can cause health problems, mental and physical. If we're too much in sympathetic dominance, which is more common, that also causes lots of problems because effectively the nervous system isn't getting a break. So we're in this chronically elevated, stressful situation, and many of us can identify with what that feels like. And that massively predisposes us to chronic disease, but it also really affects our mental health and makes us much less happy, much less fulfilled, frustrated, sick, tired, under-energized, all these kind of things. So that's it for part one. I just want to set the scene about what impacts mental health, and it's really controlling your links between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So stay tuned next week where I can talk to you about my biggest tip for getting yourself into parasympathetic dominance and therefore into more of a rested and relaxed state. That's it for now.